Do you see me? I see you. Oh, good, you see me. Welcome, everybody, to a beautiful occasion. As you know, tonight is our closing ceremony for the magical sabbatical. And I just made my final post in the group, in the Facebook group, which was crazy. Literally, as I was typing it just now, I'm like, I've been posting in the Magical Sabbatical Facebook group for 8.5 years that it has existed. I know. Tonight is not a sad night for me, I will tell you. Tonight for me is pure gratitude. I think if we had this ceremony last December, I would have been almost in tears, at least. But I really spent this year understanding what sabbatical was and has been. And I spent this year really saying goodbye to it. As you know, I was told a year ago last October that I was supposed to sunset Magical Sabbatical at that time. And I kept the group because of people's reactions. People were very, very upset. And so I kept it. And I don't regret keeping it. I really don't. I think it's still been very sweet. And you can kind of see this year that it became redundant. Do you know what I mean? Because it was sort of like, what's the difference between sabbatical and soul shift? So people would post the same post in sabbatical and then go and post it in soul shift at the same time. So it became a little redundant toward the end of the year. But I still have always had a lot of love for what sabbatical is and what it has been. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I think remembering the journey is really sacred. But I will say that my heart is really full of pure gratitude tonight and less sadness than I would have had if it was last year, because I've had this whole year to prepare knowing that that the end of sabbatical was nigh, right? So I hope that you can come to it from the same place of just reflection and gratitude without the sorrow, because I really do think that sabbatical has run its course, and it's what's beautiful is now the ending, it's graceful. You know what I mean? Like, instead of being controversial or something that makes people upset, now the ending is just gentle. You know what I mean? Like, it's right. It's accurate. The timing is beautiful right here at the end of the year with Yule, right when we're turning season. I think everything about this moment. So what I will tell you is, what I've learned is everything does happen exactly when it's supposed to. And I think sabbatical ending tonight is exactly as it's meant to be. I know, and a lot of you started with sabbatical, and of course I started with sabbatical. So the tools that you need for tonight's ceremony is very simple. I wrote you a poem that I want to read to you. My spirit guides were like, "You're going to read a poem," and I was like, "Oh," and they're like, "Yeah, we'll give it to you." So I channeled a little poem for you. I have a drum because I do want to drum with you just a little bit. This is it's really amazing because, and I mentioned this in Soul Shift last night, but I want to tell you now and reiterate, quite a few of you got together secretly and made me this beautiful despacho in this jar, which I love so much. I've had a chance today to really glance around and also just to I wish you could smell this. It is probably the most beautiful thing to behold and the most beautiful thing to smell. And so I want to thank all of you who took the time to send something in. Michelle was gracious enough to drive all the way from Orange County and deliver it here, which is not a short drive. So I want to thank you. The one that is sitting here is the original despacho from my university teaching days. I didn't... oh yeah, it looks like it's okay. This is the original despacho from my university teaching days that has all of the sand and the melted wax and the stones and the everything in here is from my university students. So what's really cool, I hope you can see these both. will be to have these together. I'll probably put a candle inside of this one too, because it's how I continue to work with these. To see these together is really profound, because this one was a gift from my university students, and this one is a gift from you. So I really want to thank you, truly. There was a journal that came with this too, which is right down here at my feet, and that I haven't been able to get all the way through, because I started to read through it and I started to tear up. So, but it's absolutely beautiful. Michelle, you did an incredible job, and thank you to all of you who contributed bits and pieces to put that together, because it literally takes my breath away. And so these will be things that I have for all of my life. I've carried this with me for the past 10 years, ever since I left university life, which was a decade ago. And so I'm sure I will carry this with me for the next 10 years and hopefully have them forever to reflect on. So thank you for all of your work. I really appreciate it. And so I think what I'm going to do actually is transfer. I'll do that later. Okay, so we're going to drum a little bit. We're going to light our candles. I'm going to light these candles, and I'm going to drip some of the wax into this old despacho, and then I'm going to drip some of the wax into this new despacho. Every time I look in here, I see something new that I didn't see before. I really appreciate that, but I want to talk to you first, and so let's begin there. I'm going to begin by reading the poem that I wrote for you, and then I'll tell you a story. And you can feel that, Michelle. She said it's truly a collective offering and a collaboration, and you can feel that. I mean, you can feel the energy and the love and the passion and the commitment and the joy and the strength and the resilience of everybody in that jar. So I am beyond grateful. Truly, truly. Okay, and you can close your eyes if you want, if that helps you listen, a little bit better, or you can keep your eyes open, whatever works for you. Sabbatical. I opened this circle before I felt ready almost 9 years ago, because Spirit said the time was right. A space, a pause, a place to rest, renew, and restore. And it has been that for many, and for me, since we began. Our time to pause and take a break is now complete. And the good work of our collective is now sealed in the records of all time. All mothers know their children are not their own, but rather theirs to tend, shepherd, and witness with love and a steady hand for a short time until they are ready to fly on their own. As you take flight from this space, may your great wings lift you, allowing you to soar with greater ease than ever before. Tonight, this circle closes with love and clarity, as well as gratitude, because we are ready. Not to pause, but to take bold steps forward toward a new decade of magic. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and on we go. Amen, Aho, and on we go. And thank you to my spirit guides for offering those words to help me communicate a little bit of what's on my heart and mind and spirit tonight as I think about the closing of such a sacred space. Truly. So it was almost 9 years ago that I knew I was going to teach online. I didn't know exactly what I was going to teach. I knew I was going to teach stuff like this. But I didn't know what, or to whom, or really how. I really didn't know. And so I kept saying, no, I'm not ready. No, not, yeah, maybe, no. I think I was really ready 10 years ago. And I had been holding circles and ceremonies in person in San Diego for quite a while. I had a group called the Muse. And so I had a really vibrant community that I was teaching and leading through moon ceremonies and through high holiday ceremonies, and we met all the time. But I wasn't sure how to translate that to an online offering, but it was my intention. And so finally at a certain point, and I think I had told you that in that last class I taught at the university called Of Love and Leadership, that we did one exam for students. Their whole grade was based on one exam, and they had to answer the question, how are you going to bring more of what you love into the world? And then they could do an interpretive dance, they could write a paper, they could give a speech, whatever they wanted to do, but they had to tell us how they were going to bring more of what they love forward. And so I did the exam too, and what I said was I was going to bring my love for the moon forward to people online around the world. And that was 10 and a half years ago now. So I knew this was something I wanted to do, but again, I wasn't sure how. And so finally, my spirit guides were on me. It's time, you need to do this. It's time, you need to do this. And so it started, Sabbatical was very casual. It started very small. I remember the candle I made. I remember the art that was on the candle. There was a little sabbatical perfume. I remember what crystals were in the first kit. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was very simple and very small. And there were more people who signed up at the beginning than I even thought there would be, and I remember thinking to myself, maybe I really am ready, because at the time I was like, I don't know. And what online platform should I use? And how do I set up, right? I was doing it out of my home and with just a teeny little table. It was kind of rickety, but it was also kind of sweet. And those of you who were there back then, like Denise, it was sweet. And I've tried to maintain a certain amount of that sweetness, like not overproducing things. Do you know what I mean? Like I still sit here and read stuff out of my handwritten notes, and I'm still kind of, still sitting here in front of a small table, and I still try to go live and do things that are spontaneous. And so I still try to keep it kind of mom and pop, even though we're a little bit more developed than we were back then, certainly when it was just me and my little self in my little room, right? But my spirit guides kept kind of ratcheting it up. Now you're going to do something called Elder Council. Oh, okay. And in order to do Elder Council, you have to do this, this, and this. And if you don't take it seriously or they don't take it seriously, then you won't be able to do it anymore. And I remember just thinking like the pressure was starting to sort of build and mount. But more and more people were finding it and resonating with it, because the intention for Sabbatical was exactly what the Latin word sabbatical means. When you're a professor, your goal is to get a sabbatical, because that's a break. Sabbatical means pause, right? So if you're a professor, it's a break so that you can go and research something in a different part of the world, or just not teach for a semester and write your own book. It's supposed to be a refresher. It's supposed to be a time for you to get your own needs met, and to be able to indulge your passions and what matters to you. And so that's really what Sabbatical was and has continued to be even to this day. Like I said, a little bit less this year because Sabbatical almost became kind of redundant with Soul Shift in a way. But really up until this year, it's been kind of the well. It's been a place you can go and like just kind of dip your toe in and get the support that you need. I think this next year, you'll find Pillars of Priestessing picks that mantle up and carries it forward. But with a little less of an eye to pausing and more of an eye to designing, more of an eye to taking action and initiative and creating and customizing ceremony and putting all these skills that you've been developing over the last almost 9 years to practice. At some point we have to move beyond reflection and pausing and actually take what we're learning and developing and bring it to the world to help people. Those are the underlying tenets of Buddhism that I find so resonant. We're here to love, we're here to learn, and we're here to share what we know. And so it's been really on my heart and spirit to bring more of a leadership push to you and bring more of an activation push to you to say, okay, now you've had this time, this reflection, to build your self-esteem, right? To know that You're not weird. That there are other people who are very much like you, who want to know what you know and want to experience what you can create and want to hear your voice, right? So now that you've cultivated this sense of connection and self-esteem and I mean, think about it. At the beginning of Sabbatical, this was really still weird. The whole kit and caboodle was weird back then. It's only been in the last 4 or 5 years, even really maybe the last 3 or 4 years, where you see metaphysics really taken quite seriously, even in the medical field. So I think, what I find is certain spaces and certain energies are needed at certain times because of a collective consciousness that helps them emerge. And so I really want to say thank you, because I think that the people who were in this group then and the people who are in this group today helped to create this. I don't think something like Sabbatical can be created by one person, maintained by one person, shepherded really by one person. I feel like this really was a collective kind of patchwork quilt that we created with a lot of intention and a lot of love and a lot of unconditional love, a real sincere lack of judgment, right? And so I want to say that Sabbatical for me, the biggest gift Sabbatical gave me in the past 8 years, other than this beautiful despacho, which is an amazing gift, but the energetic gift that Sabbatical gave me is it taught me that online relationships are very real and that energy permeates even the most, distanced, remote, virtual spaces. We don't have to be in the same room. We don't even have to be in the same country to really see each other and connect with each other and express that unconditional love to each other. Really, really, truly. And most of the people in this space have not only done that for each other, they've done it for me too, right? It's been a really, really, really profound thing. Oh, I love that. Look at that. Let me go back to your comment because I think it's really profound. Andrea said, I think I'm going to designate 1 weekend a month as my sabbatical to just reflect and catch up on me and things just for me. Isn't that a beautiful commitment to make? Cheers to that. Maria just poured me really cold kombucha and it's super yummy. So I'm drinking a lot of it. So that's been the biggest gift of Sabbatical to me. It has reinforced to me that energy work is very real, that it crosses space and time, dimensional boundaries, and that you really can have a family, a virtual family, people who really care about you and really will show up for you when it matters, right? So that's the main thing it taught me. And it's also been the main gift that Sabbatical has given me, because in the process of realizing how significant this work has been and how significant it can be, it has allowed me to learn how to trust my own intuition too. And, it's when I think about how long, my own evolution over these last 8.5 years, I look back to some of the really early Sabbatical videos and it's like, it's sweet, even just for me to see my evolution from the time I first started holding that container to now, and how much I've learned. All along the way I've learned. There are things that I have done well, there's things I could have definitely done better, along the way. But all in all, I have to say it's been these last 8.5, 9 years have truly been some of my favorite of my entire life. And a lot of that is thanks to you. Truly, truly, truly. And so that's my main message to you tonight. So the Sabbatical Facebook group, as of right now, is now an unmoderated, what we're calling a legacy space. So you'll always have access to it. We're not going to continue to admit new people into the group, but you'll always have access to it as long as you want to remain there. We will not at Sage Goddess be moderating it or removing unwanted content, because I have to redirect, cue siren, I have to redirect my team's time now to, because we're going to be opening the Crystal Masters Facebook group and making sure that we've got everything lined up for the 2020 Soul Shift Facebook group. So the time that we have dedicated to kind of making sure that you had good content being posted on the right time and posting your schedule and removing content and stuff, all of that energy is going to now turn to the Crystal Masters group. So Sabbatical Facebook group is still open. You're still welcome to engage there. I will not be there, just so you know, so I don't want you to feel hurt if I don't comment on your posts or like them or respond. Again, because I'm having to redirect, there's only so many hours a day, I'm having to redirect my attention from that space over to the new Facebook groups too. So Crystal Masters Facebook group will be live on the 1st of January. Claire and team are spending, my whole team gets at least a couple days off next week. We try to stagger it so everybody gets Christmas Day off, and we all leave early on Christmas Eve. But a lot of the marketing team is out after Christmas, 26, 27 in there. So I want to give them a day or two to get back on the schedule following the holidays. And I think, guaranteed by the 1st. We may have it up a day or two before that, but your fees aren't going to be charged until the 1st. So really the whole experience of Crystal Masters and Soul Shift 2020 begins right at the beginning of January. And yes, my sweet team deserves a month off. I can't give it to them, but Team SG has worked so hard in the last 3 weeks. I really do raise a glass to them. They are downstairs working so hard to make sure that even if you've placed an order after the cutoff, they're trying to get things to everybody by the holidays. They really have worked hard. Oh, that's awesome. Michelle said she's coming over to Crystal Masters. So the one technical thing I have to tell you tonight, and I'll remind you again at the end, if you're only in sabbatical right now, your membership is about to be canceled. So we are canceling everybody's membership. You should have already gotten an email too. You don't have to cancel anything. But if you're only in sabbatical, nothing rolls over for 2020. So if you want to stop doing Sage Goddess programs, you don't have to do anything. If you're done with sabbatical and you don't want to do Soul Shift or Crystal Masters, then you are now free to roam the earth. I will miss you. If you do want to continue working with me and you've only been in sabbatical, then you do have to register for a new program. And you have until the 31st if you want your annual option to save, a couple of months of tuition. If you're in Soul Shift and you want to continue, then that will roll over. But if you're in sabbatical only, sabbatical is being canceled, and that does not roll into Crystal Masters. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure you know that. Sabbatical is being canceled, and so if you want a new program, you have to go and consciously choose a new program. And we did that because we've told everybody sabbatical is ending, and I didn't want people to be like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for Crystal Masters or anything like that. So if there are some of you here tonight who've just been in sabbatical and you're not continuing, this is also my chance to say thank you and that I wish you well. I really, really do. I think everybody is right where they need to be on their soul's path. And I'm sure there are at least a few people here who are going to sunset their learning experiences with me tonight. And so if that is the case for you, whenever you see this, whether it's right now or tomorrow or next week, I really want to say a particular thank you to those of you whose time with Sage Goddess and my programs is ending, because I am really, truly grateful for you. Each person here has made a really important difference in the experience for your brothers and your sisters. And so every comment, every post, every time that you've shown up to be in service and in support to me and to each other, every time you have set your own needs aside to share a kind word or to participate in ceremony, it does make a difference. And so thank you. And especially to those of you who I may not see again for a while, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. I really, really do. And thank you for choosing to do this work with me for the time that you have. I'm really grateful. Wonderful. So cheers. So Jenna's leaving us, so wishing you well. Velvet's going over to Crystal Masters. So I just want you to know, whatever you choose, I really do support your path. I once had somebody leave programs and then later say that they were upset with me because I didn't chase them. Well, you didn't come after me and say, please, please, please. And I really don't do that. And I don't do that because I trust your intuition. You know what I mean? If your path is leading you in a different direction, I really honor that. I love having you here, but I'm really grateful for whatever time we have together, even if that time is coming to an end now. I know, it's amazing that the end of this year is here already. I mean, in a way, the last 2 months have gone by so fast that I feel it's like, how is it really Yule already? But here we are. Well, some of you are stuck with me too. But truly, I think it's a really beautiful thing. People's knowing of their past and what's right and wrong for them is one of the things that makes me believe in God. Because I really do. I think people know, if they're willing to listen, I think they really know where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be there and why. And then the trick becomes, can you follow it? You know what I mean? I know, it's the end of a decade too. That's the other crazy thing. It's not just the end of a year. It's not just the end of a season. It's the end of a decade. And Sage Goddess has been with you virtually for almost that entire decade. That's the really crazy part. When I stop to think about it like that, it's like, I'm going to be almost 50 by the time we have this conversation again. And hopefully through menopause, right? Aho to that. So happy. Okay. So I want to do just a little drumming before we light our candles. So if you have a drum or a rattle or anything musical, sound related that you would like to work with, just want to welcome you. To grab that tool. Of the gateways for opening all of those circles with us. Thank you for holding the directions and representing the elements. I want to thank my spirit guides and yours. Leading us into and out of ceremony space together. All the meditations and the reflections, the conversations that we've had. All the members, past, present, and future, of all programs, benefit from this lineage. Thank all the plants that came forward to lend themselves for our tools. All the plant teachers, the stone teachers. Each season, each quarter, each piece of wisdom that led us to this place and this time. Thank you to our ancestors who led us here. Thank you to our star origins, which is where a lot of us know each other from. Thank you to the comings and the goings. I want to take a moment to say thank you to past members who are no longer here, those who have departed this earth, and those who are just no longer in the container. Your imprint is here, your energy is here. We learned with you, alongside you. Thank you to past members who are here and present, or no longer here, but here in spirit. Thank you for your fingerprint, for your imprint, for your influence, for your love, your presence. Thank you to the gods and goddesses that we've studied and worked with, who've guided our ceremonies and our gatherings. Thank you for sharing your essence, your energy, your wisdom with us. offer in the feed, anything else that has touched your heart. I want to thank everyone who has helped me on my side over the last 9 years with Sabbatical. All the way from Dave at the beginning, helping me get technology set up, to my San Francisco team, to my entire LA team here. There are more people working on Sabbatical than you know, all the time, have been. Aw, thanks you guys. I turn it right back to you. I'm so grateful for you. I want to thank my spirit guides who wouldn't let me say no, even though I wanted to. And I want to thank those members who I didn't appreciate the anger last year that people expressed. But what I learned is it's all in the cauldron of what's right. And their anger and their distress about this group ending gave us one more year to reflect, to learn, to grow. Paved the way for the pillars of priestessing to come back. And I don't know that would have happened otherwise, right? Yeah, we'll throw some thanks for Nick and Zoe on there too. It's very sweet. That's right, to the spirit guides, yours and mine. And so to any energies that we have forgotten or not mentioned tonight, let's throw them in the cauldron too, our big cauldron of gratitude tonight. We stir it together. Anyone we've forgotten, anyone we've left out, that deserves our gratitude. We add you at this time too. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, you know, all as it's meant to be. I really, the older I get, the more I realize we, of course, have free will and all these things, but there is a universal sort of vibration that's constantly leading us toward what's in alignment with our highest good. If we just listen and pay attention, that voice speaks loudly enough to be heard, right? Okay, now a little copal, sacred medicine for setting space, the beginnings and the endings of it. And so as we prepare to seal this container, consecrate this beautiful space together, just watching that beautiful copal as it burns. Did I get enough going there? You have to light it one more time. There we go. Now we've got it. All right. So in I go. It's still not lit. Hold on. Let me really make sure this thing's cooking. It's got to be lit now. Aw, Maria's son drummed with me. I love that. And thank you for that, Bonnie. We're so thankful to all of our spirit guides and the Great Spirit. And then I'm going to go into the new. It's like halfway lit, halfway not. clockwise circle there. And now I'm going to light this candle, which is actually my new moon candle for this month. And I'm going to say a closing prayer for sabbatical. Oh, I like that. You've got your Into the Mysteries candle. It's a good one for tonight. Aw, Andrea's having chocolate and calling it cacao ceremony. You're my kind of girl. Andrea, love it. So my closing prayer for sabbatical is, and you can have one too. My closing prayer for sabbatical is that everyone who is here now and has ever been a part of this beautiful community, my wish is for your continued joy and health, your continued prosperity and alignment. And my wish for you is that the wisdom that you've gained in your time here, the comfort, the support, the nourishment, that no matter where your travels lead you, that you will continue to find that light that never goes out, that northern star that will guide you when you feel lost. And so may the energies that brought you here remain with you now and always. And I just drip a little bit of the wax around. This is how I use my teaching despacho. Aho. And now my opening prayer. I see this despacho as an opening despacho for our next steps. I really see this as a despacho that honors both where we've been as well as where we're going to next. Oh, I love seeing all of your blessings, you guys. And thank you for writing, Athena. The words, I can't pronounce the words, but I feel the energy of them. So beautiful. And Stephanie, that we all... my wish for us all is that all we have gained here stays with us and leads us where we are meant to go in this lifetime. None of us got here by mistake. Beautiful. With that burning light and love, we can now move forward and weave love through our lives, giving it to everyone we meet, handing them pieces of light we found here, holding space and witnessing them. Isn't that true? Okay, my opening prayer for where we are going next. My wish for all of us who have been here is that our next steps will be even more blessed, that the next containers that we step into are blessed by the wisdom that we gained during our time here, that we take the unconditional love, and there's a stone in here that says courage, unconditional compassion that we've all gained over these years together, that we take all of that and continue to bless others, both here in this community, but also outside of this community as we take our first steps as an alumni group, as a legacy group, to bring that wisdom forward to the world and to help in that evolutionary and ascension process. Aho. Now, do you have a candle lit? This is the last step of our closing ceremony tonight. I know you have, Tara, and I love you. You know, it's amazing. Can you imagine if each one of you added up how much time you've spent in sabbatical with me and added it together? I mean, collectively, it's hundreds of years. We look good for being several hundred years old together, don't we? Oh, I love that. Friendship multiplies happiness and shares worries. Isn't that true? So beautiful. Aho. Lifetimes. It's true. And so as we prepare to say goodbye to this space, and in some cases to each other, and as we prepare to open the next door toward our next adventure and our next level of development and connection, as your sister, as I really do think of myself as your sister, I just want you to know that I love you and I'm grateful for you. I really appreciate you. I see your beauty. I see your shadow. I see everything it took for you to get here. Sometimes I think I see more than you think I see. Right? So thank you, because I really do love you, and I feel the love right back. And so as we extinguish this candle together, I want you to pay attention to the inhale. And as you do your inhale before you extinguish this candle, I want you to pull into your body, mind, and spirit all of your joy, all of your optimism, all of your gratitude, all of your excitement about the future, all of your appreciation for the past. I want this to be a mindful breath that we use to collectively extinguish our candles and this experience together. So what will that exhale be made of for you? And now I want you to focus on one emotion. If you could make one wish for everybody who's leaving tonight. My wish for you is peace. If I really could grant you one wish, it would be peace on your path. So you ready? Let's take that deep inhale and extinguish together. To peace and joy and self-love and happiness. Peace and joy. All the joy in the world from Cheryl. More joy from Suzanne, and peace from Dot. It's so beautiful. Smoke to the east. New beginnings on the way. Aho, everyone. So what I'm going to do, I actually don't know if this lid will allow me to do that. I think I'm going to have to find a smaller version of this candle, which I will do, a shorter beeswax candle too. Or maybe I'll slice this one so I can put it in here, because I like to carry the energy of one candle from one container over to the next. And it seemed really fitting that it was my new moon candle that I chose to move over there. Right? All the energy of new beginnings. Thank you for that, Colin. I really appreciate it. Teaching Sabbatical and Soul Shift really is some of the most important work of my life. I have been told, and I believe it to be true, that 2020 is my most important year of teaching so far. And in some ways it's because the Pillars of Priestessing was some of my best teaching. And I think I'm about to up-level it. And I thought it was good the first time. So if you are feeling called to it and you haven't decided yet, I really do think 2020 is going to be a very special and very important year as we continue our process and our evolution together. But like I said, no matter where your travels and journeys take you, you always have a friend in me and a sister in me, and I'm grateful for you beyond. I'm so glad to hear that. Teresa said it's been a lifeline to make sense of chaos. Isn't that true? I don't want to lose you, Jessica. I'm so glad I'm not going to. Cheers, you guys. And I love you back. Tonight was really special. This despacho is one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given. I don't know that there's any way that you could have honored me more powerfully than by taking the time and energy to put that together with your thoughtfulness. So I want to thank you one more time for that, because I will treasure it forever. I really, really will. Like I said, I've carried this humble little thing around with me for a long time, and I can still tell you which student gave me every single thing that's in there. So these are things that I carry very close to my heart. Big magic in there. All right, you guys. Aho, and on we go. So just a reminder, the Sabbatical Facebook group remains. We won't be adding anyone new, and Sage Goddess isn't going to be present there, which includes me, because we're getting ready to open the new Facebook groups for 2020. It won't be moderated, so if you report content, there won't be anybody to remove the content, but I don't think we have that kind of issue so much in Sabbatical. That tends to be like the public groups that have problems with unwanted content and stuff. So I think as long as everybody continues to respect the space, it should continue to be a beautiful space. And I will look forward to seeing you in the new year, either in Soul Shift or in Crystal Masters, or both. I'll look forward to that then. Thanks, you guys. Thank you for helping me honor what was and what is in such a beautiful and I think a really fitting way. And again, thank you to Team SG also for helping me prepare for today and make sure that it was a beautiful experience for all of us. Merry Christmas, Happy Yule. So I will see you tomorrow. We have a live Yule ceremony that doesn't require you to be in a community. So we'll be live online at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, which is Yule proper. I will also be here in the classroom tomorrow night at 6 p.m. If you're local, would love to see you. And in the meantime, have a beautiful rest of your evening, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you're continuing on, I can't wait for the next leg of this journey with you. It's going to be a good one, and I think you're ready for it. I'll see you soon. From my heart tonight, thanks for being there, you guys, truly.